Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
So hardcore, we're doing something that we've never done before. Nah, we're not going to the mountains or the shore. This summer you go find us on the pickleball court. Yeah, let me introduce you to this thing called pickleball, where you use these paddles and an oversized wiffle ball. If you've never played, you think that pickleball's despicable. Once you start playing it, it's highly enjoyable. I just hit the winner, okay, time for a confessional. I am really good at this, I could be a professional. I'ma bring a tripod cause our highlights are phenomenal. I bet we look just like Federer and Rafael Nadal.
Water-soluble and easily digestible. It's the Audience of One show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you may get your podcasts from. On the show today, we are covering radioactive rocks brought to a school, nuclear reactors on college campuses, a guy who was destined to survive a bear attack, and many, many more. I am Andrew, the Fear of the Run Sheet, next to the guy who brandishes a weapon at four-way stops. It's Dick. I love to tell people I'm a trash astronaut. Schisler.
I'm a trash astronaut.
Yeah, trash astronaut.
I love it.
Yes, it sounds like something easily attainable, yet probably not so. Yeah, speaking of space, it got me thinking about, when I was talking about the different models of UFOs last week, and how they're basically the same model of UFO in every single picture, and that they apparently don't. What if there's like some embargo like they did, some space embargo like they did on Cuba back in the 1950s, and they've been forced to repair the same model of UFOs for the last 100 years?
Oh, you're talking about if there's like a conspiracy? Or
not conspiracy.
Even the aliens have to...
Well, that's the thing with Cuba, right?
Yeah.
Like if you go to Cuba, they have cars from the 1940s and 50s, and they look immaculate, because they have to continually fix them, because they don't have there's a trade embargo with them, so they're not allowed to get cars and parts from anywhere around the world. So they are forced.
Oh, the whole world?
Yeah, so they're forced to fix.
I thought it was just America.
I believe it is America and Europe. Yeah. So unless I'm completely wrong on that, but that could be happening with the aliens too. And so they're forced to just keep the same model of ship over and over again.
They have a lot of cars there
in Cuba.
Yeah, Fast and the Furious. Which one opened with that?
Well, it is mimicking real life. That's art mimicking life right there. Yeah. Fast and Furious. Slapping gears.
So, yeah. You doing good?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. I mean, look at me. I'm a little bit at wit's end. I've just been busy. We're going to have to put a couple in the can here coming up, too. Do some double episodes and part 1, part 2s probably, because I'm going to be busy traveling. But, yeah, man, doing good. How about yourself?
Doing all right.
This whole recording at the end of the week is quite different. It's not like we go, hey, how was your weekend? Because the weekend's like tomorrow.
I don't even remember the last weekend.
Right, exactly. So it's like, how has your week been?
Yeah.
So different.
It's Oktoberfest started last weekend, so I've been having fun.
Really?
That's probably my
Where
favorite.
at?
That's probably my
Here
favorite.
locally?
Yeah.
I love Oktoberfests. And they're starting in September. How proactive of them.
Well, it's like a 2-week deal.
Just because they're so drunk, they don't realize they're in September.
Well, I mean, in Germany, it's a 2-week deal.
Yeah, it is. I had some neighbors in my neighborhood. That makes them my neighbors, I suppose. Last year went to the actual German Fest, or Oktoberfest in Germany, sorry. Yeah, it looks like they had quite the time.
Well, yeah. Well, what I love about it is just it's.
Tell me your favorite part.
It's not beating around the bush. It's like it's beer.
This is what's going to happen here. People are going to drink and get really drunk. I did see a video floating through my social media earlier, and it was of a guy at one of these Oktoberfests, and he had passed out. And I guess the tradition is if you pass out or fall asleep, they go by and put coasters on his head.
Oh, yeah.
And they saw how many people could stack up coasters, and I think it probably got 7 or 8 high before the stack finally fell over, and he startled.
That's what I love about it. Yeah, I've seen those videos of the baseball field. And they stack empty plastic cans on them or cups.
Oh, when somebody passes out?
Yeah, they're like
no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I love it.
But no, that's my favorite thing about it. It's probably my favorite holiday because it's just like, oh, we're just hanging out, but now
Is it really a holiday? Is it considered a holiday?
I want to say, yeah. Not like
Oktoberfest? Or is it just merely an observance?
it's a festival.
Yeah, and you're a festival guy. I know that.
So
Okay, so it's running on locally. Is it every day or running here locally?
Well, here what they're doing is different breweries are doing specials. Like you can buy it this, like for example, Foss. I actually really wanted to go there before we go bowling, but I don't think we'll have time. But you just buy a stein, and then it's like $10.
Okay, so this isn't an organized thing by the city. This is just different breweries taking advantage of the. Okay, because I've been to actual.
Well, certain towns do it.
Yeah, right. I've been to the
And,
city
New
sanctioned
Braunfels
events.
does it.
Oh, I've
And
been to Worst
they-
Fest many a time.
Yeah, actually, but
That's a lot
theirs
of
is
fun.
in November though. They I guess they smartened up and realized, oh hey, everyone's going to ACL and all this stuff in October.
Let everybody sober up and then come back
and then
the next
come over
month.
here.
Yeah. No, Worst Fest is quite the event.
Is it?
Yeah,
I
it's-
wanted to go this year.
Oh, it's
and
fun.
my buddy even like we were watching football. And he's like, we should go to Wordfest. And I was like, yeah. When is it? Because I never think about it during October Festival.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot of fun.
It's in New Braunfels. And
Or New Braunfels.
yeah, Braunfels.
Yeah, there's no S in the middle there.
New Braunfels.
You're not allowed to go
Sorry,
if you
I
can't
don't-
say it right.
I don't care.
New Braunfels.
But yeah, I love it. Like we went to Southern Star. They just opened up their new beer hall there, and they did something really weird. When you think of a beer hall,
I'm thinking of one right now.
You think of like wood tables and
Mm-hmm.
it's just atmosphere, but there it's really classy.
Okay.
They have like granite tops
Do you
for
feel
all
like you
the
need
tables.
to? You feel like you need to put on a smoker's jacket?
Kinda,
Ooh, okay.
but it's all granite top tables, like fancy granite.
I'd be afraid that if I had my wine glass and I set it down a little too hard on that granite
It'd
table,
break.
it'd break.
But not my Stein.
Yeah, Stein.
So I got a Stein and I drank 3 of them. It was great. And they had a German band there, and I was just sitting there going like, "Oh yeah, I'll do this."
Hold on. Let me guess. It had a squeeze box.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it had somebody wearing lederhosen.
everyone was wearing them.
And every song sounded virtually indistinguishable from the song previous, right? That's the way it is for me. They all sound exactly the
what
same.
was funny was like they would play covers.
This guy's been playing the same song for 15 minutes.
But then, like, one of them was like an English song, like a fight song back in the day.
Ziggy zaggy, ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi.
No, not like I'm talking about way back, like in wartime.
Okay.
It was like a
I
war
mean,
theme.
I
And I
don't
was
know how
sitting
old that
there, I
song
was
is.
like, that's weird. I've heard this before, and I looked it up. I'm like, why are they playing an English song? This is-
You know what they need to do is get one of these like German polka bands to redo modern day pop hits. That would be pretty dope.
yeah, especially when you're like 4 beers deep.
Oh, everybody would go nuts if
But
like
what
Britney
I-
Spears' "Toxic" came on. Yeah.
Well, what I like what they
how
do
modern
here-
of a reference was that?
So like Foss does a deal because they've been around for a couple years now, and like
Yeah.
if you bought a sign any year, you can bring it back, and they charge you $10.
Does your Stein have the lid too?
I have one of them at my house. That's like a Schischler one,
Oh, of course. Yes.
but here you just bring their Stein. If you bring the Stein you bought, you can always bring it back and get it filled during Oktoberfest. Not year round.
do they give you a discount?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I bought at Southern Star, the Stein was $10, a pour was $10. So now next year I could just bring that Stein and like fill it up for $10.
Okay, well that's not really a discount. That's just you've already purchased the Stein. I was thinking maybe like it'll be $8 instead of 10.
You don't have to keep buying a Stein.
Well-
You can use 10 years ago,
Okay,
hypothetically.
all right.
You don't want to have you have to have a Stein.
Okay, sure.
$10 is a lot, but a Stein's a lot of beer.
It is a lot of beer, and sometimes those Steins can get quite ornate.
And
I've seen
it's
some that
$10
are just,
for whatever beer too.
they're
So-
basically works of art. $10 for any beer.
So you can get like their IPA or whatever, and
oh,
just,
yeah.
just go to the floor.
You're just getting hammered celebrating October. You really, really love October.
I really do. Halloween's a great time too.
It is. This is the best month of the year.
Yeah. What did you come up with a design idea? I was thinking about you the other day
For more specific,
for your Halloween.
oh, for my Halloween decorations, I haven't thought about it one bit. I'm lying. I'm thinking about it all the time.
Yeah. If you didn't know, Andrew does a great job. He's that neighbor in the neighborhood.
Yeah, man, I'm waiting patiently for October 1st. I don't want to put them out too early, you know?
But you always have a cool design going.
Yeah, thank you for noticing.
So what's the theme this year?
I don't know. I am thinking about doing some sort of pirate bar, you know, where they're kind of all draped over. Maybe they'll have some Steins with some skeletons over. Yeah, I don't know yet. I build my own onesies.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's great.
I don't go to the.
He sends me updates, and I was like,
I don't go to the Home Depot and get the blow up kind. No, no, no. I build my own.
yeah.
I
I don't really
DIY
know
it.
what kind of theme I would want though. If I was doing it in my front yard, because either like you have to scare the crap out of people.
Yeah, we don't typically go for the super scary. We just
Yeah.
kind of go for a little creepy. You know, skeletons, pirates is usually the theme we
Yeah.
do. Yeah, but this time they're going to be drunk pirates. I don't know. That's just the
Well,
idea that's
if you
gone
need a
through
Stein,
my head.
I got one.
Okay, now I don't want to put anything too nice out there because someone in my hood might come and
it's a
steal
$10
it.
Stein. I think it'll be fine. But yeah,
Funny, man. Hey, last week I forgot to mention this, and I failed to bring it up, but the Shannon Sharp incident. Did you hear about the Shannon Sharp incident where he accidentally went on Instagram Live while he was making love to his girlfriend?
really.
Yes, and per your request, you wanted to reenact it. Go ahead, reenact it for the onesies who have not seen it yet.
You got it, Coach. I don't know.
Okay, no, were you not aware of this?
No.
Okay, it was kind of all over, pretty funny, but apparently he was with his girlfriend at the time, and I guess was on Insta, and she said, hey, baby, it's time, and he kind of just put the phone down, and I guess he grazed the go live button, and you don't see anything, but you certainly hear it.
Ooh, is it good?
Well, somebody was enjoying it. Actually, I guess they both were enjoying it, but yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
Well, what's so funny to me about that kind of scenario is like everyone does that at one point in their life.
Yeah, but he does it a little bit differently than everyone.
That's what everyone. That's the appeal.
I'm like, do I really sound like that? Oh my god!
Oh, that's great.
Are you afraid of having, like a Shannon Sharp incident, where you might accidentally go live on something where you're not meaning to?
I mean, it happens all the time here. Everyone thinks I'm recording, so I was like, you just might as well assume everything's being recorded anyway.
We're being recorded right now?
Oh shoot!
Hopefully.
But no, if that
No,
makes
you know
sense
what
to
I mean. I mean where you're accidentally with your lady friend or by yourself even, and all of a sudden you accidentally graze the go live, and there's the IR Lone Star in a very peculiar situation. Are you ever afraid of doing that? Because I'm not necessarily afraid of it, but it could happen. These are, after all, we're holding a device in our pants, in our pockets at any one given moment. It is designed to communicate out to the world.
But
right?
you and I aren't always on social media like Shannon Sharp would be.
No, I'm not.
So I would never really accidentally do anything. Then I also close everything after I'm done with it. I don't.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like and on the iPhone I swipe
I
up.
think he was trying to close it, but he accidentally hit live.
Yeah, but he didn't close. I'm talking about the whole app itself. Oh, is that? Oh, is it like the
I'm just clearing my throat. What?
is it like the Forrest Gump scene?
It's like something.
You know what I'm talking about? Remember that scene? When
I
the superintendent leaves and he's like, well, your mama sure does love you. He.
Let's say there's similarities, yes.
Yeah, it's great.
And he did the classical thing of, I was hacked, but then quickly came back and was like, yeah, no, it was really me. When everybody was like, dude, she seemed to be enjoying it. And he's like, oh, well, this is actually a positive for me. I should probably embrace this situation.
Well, yeah. I like that. I love it because, some PR guy he hires is like, what should we do? He's like, it's okay, man. Like, you didn't do anything wrong.
That's probably exactly what it was. His first inclination is to deny it, and then he went to his agent or his people, and they're like, actually, people seem to think you did a really good job there. She seemed to be enjoying herself.
No, I think that's what's so great about these devices where you actually have physical proof of stuff a lot. Like, back in the day, no one knew any of the scandals or anything like that. Now it's like, oh, you found your phone.
Right.
Because there was, and this again, like the world, you have no idea what's real or not. I think I read like RFK, the guy who was running for president but backed out. He they found like 43 mistresses on his phone or something like that. And I was like, this can't be a real story. Like, how does somebody find that out?
He's a Kennedy, dude.
Like, did he in his phone say mistress number 1? Like, is that what he labeled him as? Like,
no, but I think what happened is one of the mistresses was a high-level political reporter. And there was some sort of collusion going on there.
Yeah, but that's just one. But they were like,
right, but I think that's what uncovered all of them.
Yeah, but did someone steal his phone?
I don't know, dude.
But then again, the people who, one thing I'd encourage you, you've been on Reddit before?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a subreddit called For Tinder.
For Tinder.
And people post their...
And we're not talking about legal Tinder like money. We're talking about
like, the dating app.
The dating app.
And then people post, chats and stuff. Like, look at this girl, look at this guy. And I'm like, after about 10 of them, you're going, these aren't even real. Like, no one would behave like that.
Right.
And a lot of people apparently do it. Because you ask any female that went on Tinder... And I don't know if they're bots sending it to them, but it's like very sexual. And I'm like, out the gate? Like,
this is what you're leading with.
this is how it goes.
Some of them could be made up, but sadly, some of them probably are not.
Yeah, the world's pretty great. And then, like, what was that recent story about that guy who was running for something, and then he had like a porn site, and he called him Black Nazi or something. Did you see that?
Oh, you're talking about the guy who's running for governor of South Carolina.
So
Apparently,
again, that's great. And you're like,
in a previous life, he was quite the commenter on adult film sites. I'm just going to put it that way.
I always wonder what kind of people are like that.
And
Now
it doesn't take a lot of internet forensics to find that one, because he basically was using the same handle for a decade, and just up until recently, the same username on other platforms and forums and things.
Yeah,
Way to go, dude.
Good thing you looked me up. You won't,
Allegedly.
You won't really find anything like that.
That's correct. All right, man, let's go ahead and kick off the show. Are we going to play the show music? It feels like...
We'll play the...
Feels like... Oh, yeah, there we go. I miss it. Seems like it wasn't playing there for a while. But anyways, a student's radioactive rock prompts hazmat response at a high school in Oklahoma, police are reporting. I don't know if you heard about this story. It's pretty crazy, but a hazardous materials team responded to an Oakland high school after it was reported that a student brought a radioactive rock to school. Okay. This does sound like something little elementary school Schisler would do. But what I wasn't aware is that you can actually go online and buy, quote, radioactive rocks. And they have legal amounts of radioactivity in them. And I guess this kid brought it to school and was causing a big hubbub. And, of course, much like the fart spray here locally last year, that kid was genius. It started to freak people out as several students were handling this rock, and they were afraid for students' safety. Well, we talked about that guy Galen Windsor a couple weeks ago, who was eating radioactive material. This guy's probably been like, whatever, just a rock. Police and fire crews responded at about 10 a.m. on September 23rd to Owasso High School East Campus to report a, quote, potential hazardous materials incident. But no, it was just something that he bought off of Amazon. Police said that the language and jargon the student was using made it obvious that they acknowledged its radioactivity. Have you heard of these radioactive rocks? And where do you get them? I mean, I know you can buy them on Amazon, but where would they get them? Amazon,
well,
that is.
What's weird to me, if you read this article about how the police handled this scenario, is they treated it like as if it was Chernobyl.
Sure.
If you read about because it's like
bomb squad came.
Like the bomb squad came, and then they immediately escorted everybody out. And then I'm thinking, like, it's just a rock.
Yeah. I wish there was a picture of it, because I'm imagining some little thing that's probably the size of a 50-cent piece. You know, especially if it's something he bought on Amazon. They show up and they're like, clear the room, everyone. Yeah, clear the room.
Because if it's big enough for, like, say it's as big as a log, well, it's kind of obvious this kid's carrying around this giant rock.
Dragging it behind him.
Yeah, but then if it's just like a thing in his pocket, and then it's like, put it down, we got to get out of here.
It says authorities caution that while, quote, legal radioactive rocks are available for purchase online, students should not bring them to school without talking to their teachers. Well, how do we know this kid didn't talk to his teacher?
Maybe it was for class. Well, also, when you're reading that article, they said, like, oh, this kid knows about radioactive rocks. The police, when they're interviewing him, it's like his jargon.
His jargon. Yeah, they said that.
How old is this kid? Do we know?
I did not say. And again, no picture of the rock either. Does not give an age.
When I read that line, I imagine like a 10-year-old. And it's like, oh, we believe this 10-year-old.
No, it says high school, so it's got to be at least 14 to 18.
We believe this 15-year-old about radioactive material.
Okay, look, I'm going to profile this kid slightly because we don't know his name, so it's not like we're throwing him under the bus here. But any kid bringing a radioactive rock to high school, probably kind of dorky. Just going to throw that out there.
Well, I mean, it just depends on what kids are smart, and it's kind of like the TikTok thing.
Probably not slaying it with the ladies.
I bet it's on TikTok.
He does not have to worry about a Shannon Sharp incident. That's
because like that kid who did the fart spray was ingenious.
Yes,
because
my leader. Go ahead.
He didn't even. No one knew it was the fart spray. So the only reason he got caught was he left the bottle open in his backpack, and the teacher walked by,
found it.
But she didn't connect it that it was part of the whole hazmat thing.
Why would you? It's fart spray.
Yeah, she's like, why do you have that? And he's like, oh, like that's not allowed here. And then that's how they connected it all.
Yeah. So we need to get that kid's name and get him on the show.
I think he's in prison.
Yeah.
No, I was kidding. I have no idea. Unlike that 10-year-old from Willis. Did you hear about that
No, I don't
locally?
believe I did.
He did a bunch of threats about doing school shootings, and now
that's
he got
not good.
arrested. He
That's
got
not-
arrested.
That is not good.
I think he was 10 years old.
By the way, there was a lockdown at Conroe ISD today because of a suspected active shooter at Lone Star College. However, they determined it was not an active shooter. In fact, it was just a car accident where something hit an animal. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. How did we get those two confused?
I can't imagine going to a school these days.
Yeah. Again, I understand being proactive and prepared, but I'm not sure how we reached the point of locking down an entire ISD because someone had a car accident with Bambi. You know?
Well, we need to go back to the mindset that everyone doesn't want to be there. They're just trying to get out of there.
I live with a teenager. I can tell you that very much is the case.
Yeah, but I meant the whole school is behind that idea.
And the teachers, too.
Now it's like, we got to lock them down.
Hey, Jim, go run in that javelina over there.
Yeah,
I got to get out and hit the bar a little early today.
we got to go. Like, let's just ignore the fire drill. We're just going to finish this lesson. This is my job, just to finish the lesson.
You know, most places of employment have an evacuation and escape route and have a safe area where we're supposed to meet in case of emergency. You know, Richard, you have not discussed where our safe area is in case of an emergency. I think we need to discuss that soon.
You didn't hear? Did I ever tell you the story about
where's the nearest exit?
Did I ever tell you the story about the tornado warning here?
No.
So I'm sitting down here and I'm working, and then all of a sudden I see, like, literally the entire building getting out of here.
Except for you. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I literally had that. What's going on outside? That's odd. And I
told everybody except for the radio monkey.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here going.
All of City Hall is evacuating except for the radio guy.
And then someone finally, after like the 50th person passes the door, and they're like,
we should
Dick's still in
say
there,
something.
and they're like, hey, there's a tornado warning there. And I'm like, why would we be going outside if there's a tornado warning?
To look at it, duh.
I don't know.
That's what most people do during tornadoes. Go outside to look at it. Make sure it's there, and then come back inside and be safe.
I don't know. It was pretty funny, though.
No, I can understand them going to a central location, which makes sense, but you said they were going
They're out.
They're running outside.
They're going
then
out.
it probably wasn't a tornado warning. It was probably a fire or something.
Okay.
Not a tornado. Tornado, you typically go to the inside lower floor. I bet you that's where they need to really make sure they're
I don't know.
communicating with you
I don't know.
about
They're
these
too
things.
worried about locking people in here.
Well, from studyfinds.org, eating grasshoppers might improve your sleep, hair, and libido. I figured you, sir, would be very, very interested in this story. Forget about kale and quinoa. The next superfood might be crawling around your backyard. Researchers in Cameroon have uncovered the surprising health benefits of a grasshopper-based diet, suggesting these insects could be the key to better sleep, healthier hair, and even a nice morning wood. Oh, the stronger libido, sorry. So, Dick, would you be interested in eating grasshoppers if it meant that spot on top of your head would go away and your love life would be improved?
I mean, whatever.
I can't imagine doing it, man. I could not do it. I'd say, you know what, go bald and, well, never mind. I couldn't eat grasshoppers. Maybe if they put it in a nice malt, I don't know, like blend it together like in a ice cream of some sort, maybe I could do that. But if it's just like crunching into it,
Well, I mean, I think it's all about salesmanship right there. It's like, how do you sell the grasshopper for people to eat? Let's make a candy bar.
I suppose. Well, in this study,
You can buy chocolate-covered grasshoppers.
You can. Yeah. Well, in this study, they tested it on rats, and they said that they were fed. I'm not going to try and repeat the name of this particular grasshopper, but it's an edible grasshopper common in Cameroon, and they experienced significant improvements in several health markers compared to rats on other diets. In other words, they could see that one with a real high libido walking around. He was humping all the other rats. Look at that guy. Look at him go.
He had 10 more grasshoppers.
Look at all the. He's begging for more. He's shaking me down for more grasshoppers.
See, you know, it's funny. I always had this weird thought about the guy who developed the blue pill. And I'm pretty sure, like, originally it wasn't designed to do that. I think it was for, like, blood pressure or something
I'm just
like
thinking
that.
of this little rat just tearing
Well,
it up.
no, that's what I'm saying. It's like you like
Sorry.
I want to say it was originally like for blood pressure, right? And
Sure.
they're doing the studies.
As a side effect.
They're doing the closed studies, and it's like we got women, we got men, and then like everybody's in the room, and like, hey, here, take this, and then like all of a sudden you see all the guys kind of like doing the little awkward shift, like something's going on. And like, can you imagine, like a room full of like 30 people?
I'm not sure if it really helped my blood pressure, Doc, but can you give me some more for further research?
Well, no.
I need a few more of
Well,
those.
everyone you're talking to has a
Right.
tent.
Right.
And it's like, that'd be the funniest thing. Like, because they probably didn't intend that to happen, but it's like, hey, we got to start clinical trials on humans now.
Sure.
And it's like, cool, okay, let's see what happens. Like, hey,
I don't know if that's true, but I really wanted to believe that it is.
no, I'm pretty sure they, like, the original idea behind the blue
You know
pill.
a lot about boner meds, so I'm going to believe you. I'm going to believe you, Dick. It says, as the world grapples with food security issues and a growing population, scientists are increasingly turning to unconventional protein sources. Dick, I know you are all about unconventional protein sources, so this to me is right up your alley. Insects with a high nutritional value and low environmental impact have emerged as a promising alternative. And this study, of course, is being led by researchers at the University of Dushang in Cameroon. Did you find your information you were looking for about boner meds?
I'm trying to see the history.
Were you one of those early adopters early on, like back in 1997, where like, we need young adults for a study? Very nondescript. You're like, sign me up. I'm down.
Yeah, so
12-week clinical trial.
It was designed to help pulmonary arterial hypertension.
Uh-huh.
And then they realized the side effect was that, and then it became that. Yeah, because
So the side effect became what the medicine was known for.
so
I
Pfizer
like
originally
that.
discovered the medication in 1989 while looking for treatment for angina.
A what?
Angina. Angina.
Angina.
Whatever. It's
I'm
chest
thinking about
pain,
angina.
pressure. Chest pain and pressure. It was approved for medical use for that reason. And then now, I'm telling you, man.
It's pretty funny that a medication that was designed to help pressure in your chest causes men to have
Pressure
a condition,
in their pants.
pressure in their pants, and do something so much that they end up dying from overpressure in their chest.
Well,
Interesting.
I would love to see the clinical trials of like the doctors trying to be serious about this, because that one round table, they're like, "Hey, how's that treatment for the pulmonary arterial hypertension?" Well, actually, Bob, it's not going that well. And then there's one guy like sitting in the back that no one respects. Well, actually, I have another idea for this drug. Let's give it to dudes who have problems. Like, what kind of problems, Steve? Problems. And like,
visual.
and all these doctors are just like, what is he talking about? And then, I just love that idea. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you do.
I think it's hilarious.
I'm glad you do. We have some user, good grief.
Onesie?
Listener onesie feedback. I don't know why I said user. Sorry. Would you like some listener feedback, just like last week? This story brought to me by Eric B. Job applicant uses AI and sues companies who discriminate against him. This is a wild story. So follow along. Although you did say last week you were listening or trying really hard to listen to everything I was saying. How are we doing this week?
Who are you?
A, quote, professional victim who has made a career out of suing businesses for discrimination is now using artificial intelligence to help him generate more claims against potential employers. This is wild, but this guy named Christian Mallon has been out of work since 2019, but has applied for over 4,600 jobs and has won around $35,000 in out-of-pocket court settlements, despite only winning a single case, which earned him $2,700 in compensation. Now, the story is relatively long, and it gets complicated when it gets down into the legalese of it, but basically this guy, who's what they're calling a serial job applicant, will apply to a job, claim that he has several disabilities, autism, ADHD, insists on a 5 to 10 minute phone call to discuss any job application right after he applies, and if they do not comply, he immediately sues them. It's crazy, and apparently this type of tactic works. It works enough, so much so that now he's made a complete job out of doing this. He says if the companies don't comply, he then sues them for disability discrimination and or failure to make reasonable adjustments from applying. Oh my gosh, you know what? This guy is the audience of one D-bag of the week.
Oh, I like it.
I'm sorry.
Why is he a D-bag?
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, he figured out a
He
loophole.
definitely did. There's a picture of him on there, and yeah, you know
What's
what?
even more wild, he's a doctor.
Oh, he's super smart.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's just
He figured
extremely lazy.
he figured it out.
He definitely did figure it out.
Because I remember people were talking about that stuff during COVID about unemployment, where like they were trying to apply for jobs, but they didn't want the job because you have to prove that you applied to the unemployment people, and they were like everyone's getting double unemployment or whatever. So people were trying to like apply for CEO positions and stuff, and people were I guess not the IRS, whoever was in charge of that, caught on to their schemes. Where like they didn't work for like 2 years because they were applying for, they might have been a cleric somewhere. But then it's like, no, I want to apply to be a fireman. And it's like, oh, they denied me. I guess I got to be unemployed.
Work in the system.
I like this guy.
Yeah, I bet you do. I think you probably got.
I think he's going to be the AOO's best man of the week for my award.
I think we got time for one more story before the break. This is wild. A woman survives a 14,500-foot free fall in a shocking skydiving accident when she falls on top of what, Dick? What do you think she fell on top of?
I don't know.
An ant pile.
Ooh, ouch.
Now, when I read this, I immediately thought, well, this ant pile must have been huge, thereby causing some kind of fluffy landing pad for her. No. She falls out of this plane. The parachute fails to open. She lands on this and immediately gets attacked by huge red ants. And apparently all of the venom from the ants causes her heart to start beating so rapidly and putting adrenaline in her system that she actually survives the fall due to the ant bites. Bro.
I still hate
wicked.
ants.
I don't care, I still hate ants.
I like it. I think it's one of those one in a quadrillion.
Yeah, they said the chances of survival of such an incident when your parachute does not go off are almost nil. But of course,
How broken was she?
I don't know. They show a picture of her then and now, and she looks like she's in, a healthy.
Where's this picture?
Probably
I wanna see
60
this
some
picture.
odd years old, if I had to guess now. This was in 1980 something or another. I don't know. I just thought it was
Where's the
pretty
picture?
wicked. Yeah, there isn't a picture in this one. I looked at a couple of different stories. Maybe there's not a picture of the
Where's the
side by side with her.
Where's the picture?
Well, there is. You'll just have to trust me. But she survived due to ant bites. All right, man, it's a pretty good time to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a guy who invented a bear-proof suit. Did it work? Find out when we come back.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
Yeah, I did.
Did you just snap?
I just snapped.
Wow.
You're listening to Audience of One here on irlonestar.com /
Like at a poetry reading where they kind
We
of slowly snap.
come out every Friday at 10 a.m. with a new episode.
You came out years ago, dude.
Yeah. Actually, I was born in Camelot. But audienceofoneshow@gmail.com. If you ever want to send us a funny news story, thank you, Eric, for submitting that interesting new way to cheat the system with AI.
Yeah.
And
We did a little bit of research during the break on the woman who fell from the skydiving.
when
She had
someone-
like 20, what did you say?
22 surgeries following
22
the fall.
surgeries after falling.
Because I didn't really care about the ant thing. I didn't care about surviving.
That's how she survived, though.
I know, but it's more like when you fall from an airplane, like what happens to your body? So I wanted to know. And like these articles are trash. That you always find these trash articles. I'm the trash astronaut.
And by the way, it was in 1999 when she was 47 years old at the time, man.
Yeah, I mean, you still
She
got
got
it.
up to a whopping speed of 80 miles an hour before slamming into the ground and then being devoured by ants.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but I just wanted to know. I always wonder, like, how many people have fallen out of an airplane, like a skydiving accident like that.
Well, we know of one.
Well, I know. I imagine it's like almost to the thousands.
Yeah, and survived, you mean?
Yeah, and survived. And like, you just can't use your legs.
I can't imagine there's that many. Oh, you mean ever? Like
over the course of people skydiving?
Yeah, maybe 1,000. That seems like a lot.
I'm not going to go up to 1,000. We got to be like close to.
How many people jump out of planes every single year?
Probably a lot.
That does remind me back in 1988, I believe, or 87 or 88. Maybe that's what I was thinking when I said that for this woman. But there was a guy, he was an instructor, and he was doing like his, 30th jump of the day, and he was filming some of his other students as they jumped out of the airplane, and he forgot to put his parachute on.
Oh.
And you can see the moment where he's recording his students jumping, and then you can see his hand reach down for his cord, and there's nothing there. And his last words were, "Oh no." And that's all she wrote. It's terrifying.
Someone actually asked this question.
How many people?
Yeah, how many people have survived jumping out of a plane with
You
a
did, just moments ago.
No, someone on the internet wrote it.
Uh-huh.
That right now, the only people, this is the internet, by the way. Wikipedia says.
This is the internet.
Wikipedia says 9 people.
Ever?
We
were a little off with our estimate of 1,000.
Well, at least I didn't go over it. Hey, we're playing Price is Right, Bob.
No, you did go over by a bunch.
No, I said up to 1,000. It's got to be close to 1,000.
That's not Price is Right. You can't go over. Not up to.
Well, no, Price
That's
is Right.
That's why people say $1. I should have said 1, and I would have won.
Well, you would have won, but you didn't say anything, so I won.
Well, I did say that seems like an awful lot, but...
Well, another thing they're saying is that 1 in every 1,000 skydives experience a malfunction. But that doesn't mean... That doesn't mean like it doesn't open and then you hit the ground. It means like
something went wrong. Yeah, I'll tell you what went wrong. You jumped out of a perfectly good plane. That's the first thing you did wrong. Would you ever skydive?
Yeah.
No way, man.
I would if I had like nothing to live for.
Oh, I got it. Would you rather eat those bugs? What was it? Crickets? What did I say were good for your libido earlier? Or jump out of grasshoppers? That's what it was. Would you rather eat grasshoppers or jump out of an airplane?
I'll do both
at the same time.
At the same time. Give me a blue pill too at the same time. That'd be great Red Bull footage. And that's what I would say the entire time. Red Bull gives you a buzz.
Audience of One show, guys.
Wouldn't that be great?
Every Friday at 10 a.m.
Well, speaking of Red Bull and people who are hardcore, you sent this video of this guy creating a bear suit.
Oh, we want to jump to that?
So, yeah.
Okay, hold on. I did have...
Oh, yeah, other stuff. I was like all excited to watch this with you because it looks ridiculous. We'll get to it later.
No, we can cover it now.
You know what happens when we go out of turn?
Everything gets thrown off, right?
And Andrew's brain.
I am Fuhrer of the run sheet, after all.
You are.
I am. Thank you for noticing my Fuhrerness, my Fuhrerdom.
But yeah, let's play the video.
I don't care. We can do it now if you want.
All right, here's the video. I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay, so this is a video of a man named Troy Hurtusby.
He even calls it the Ursus Mark IV.
Yes, and he is a Are you showing the video?
Oh, yeah, I'm showing
He's
the
a
video.
Canadian inventor, entrepreneur, and conservationist noted for creating the Ursus series of bear suits. And this basic video is him going through iterations of different suits that he could wear in case of a bear attack.
Oh, golly.
And so we're watching a video here now of
Now
people with baseball bats essentially just beating the
That's
tar
like
out of
cricket
them.
bats.
And eventually are you going to get some audio here? Because
is there audio?
Yeah. There's going to be audio here really, really soon where he's going to narrate. They made a movie about this, a documentary.
He just likes to get hit in the face.
Called Project Grizzly. So here we go. We can crank it up a little bit.
What you did this time that you didn't, because I'm told you went off the escarpment.
Yeah, well, to test the suit, the full limits. In other words, the government still wasn't pleased with the fact that, in doing our research, if a bear did attack, that I would be saved or come out of it unscathed. So this markup, the Ursus
See, it
Mark
looked pretty
V,
good to me the first time.
It did, but it wasn't good enough for those.
Just kicks him
So
off
what we
the
did
side
was,
of a hill.
We built another suit, which we had planned to do, and redid the test this time.
This isn't
magnifying
real.
To
It's
how it
real,
wants to
baby.
refute all.
He was awarded the Nobel
we,
Prize for
we
Safety
pushed
and
the trucks
Engineering
up
in
to 3-ton
1998.
trucks at
He just
50
got hit by a
kilometers
car.
an hour. And then, of course,
So if you're not watching this, he's standing there in his Ursus whatever version suit, and an F-150 just runs right into him. Here he's going down the side of a hill. Later in this, they're going to show excerpts from the movie, like I said, Project Grizzly, where he's walking downtown, looking very much like a space alien.
Wait, so what's the original?
No,
it's going to sound stupid.
Hold on, he's narrating here. It's actually really, really funny.
he looked at the testings we had originally done with normal-sized men, 150, 180 pounds. He said the public isn't going to buy it. They're looking at this monstrous grizzly bear, and they're looking at a normal-sized man hitting you with bats and boards and stuff like that. They're not going to buy it. You have to give them reality.
So he decided to go to a bar and find some big burly guys rather than some of the small people who were beating him up with bats earlier to have them just beat the absolute crap out of him. Pulled them away from their beer and billiards. This guy looks like somebody, Dick, you would love to hang out with. No, that was from the movie. No, man, it was absolutely real. Well, unfortunately, this man, Troy James Hurtesby, I cannot say his last name, died in 2018 in a car accident, of all things, where the car caught on fire and he died in a fiery car crash.
That sucks.
What is so ironic, after he built this suit to survive a bear attack, he ends up dying in a car crash.
That's him right there?
That is him right there. Yeah, I think that's back from 1996.
Well, what's interesting about, that just looks like...
It just looks like a huge...
Like, why?
I don't, because it looks awesome, that's why.
I don't get it.
I figured, what? I figured you wouldn't need a reason for this. The guy just built a suit.
Well, he was talking about, like, doing with the Canadian government and stuff.
Yeah, he's trying to get government funding, essentially, for this. And in order to get continuous funding for his suit, he had to make it look real. He had to really fall down hills. He had to really get beat up. He had to get hit by an F-150.
Why didn't he even try to fight
But what I think is interesting, in all of that time that we just watched, not a single bear.
Yeah, I don't get it. Sorry.
Well, he also developed the Trojan Ballistics suit of armor, which is an exoskeleton suit intended for soldiers. But again, in 2018,
so he
sadly,
really won a Pulitzer Prize?
Yes, no, Nobel Prize.
Nobel Prize.
Yes, for safety engineering in 1998.
What?
You're so confused by this. I'm surprised.
Well, I want to know what did he didn't win for the suit?
No, engineering, safety engineering.
So this is serious.
Yes, this is why it's so funny, because this was actually a real thing. Oh, my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry this confused you. I didn't think it was that confusing.
Well, whoa, he made Trojan armor.
Well, yeah, I believe that's what I just said.
Could withstand a elephant gun? Like, where's that video?
Trojan Ballistics suit of armor.
Yeah, dude.
An exoskeleton used for Canadian soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan. So basically, it's just people walking around in big old suits like, shoot me, I dare you.
What?
I'm bringing a radioactive rock
No
to
one
school.
wanted to buy it.
No way.
And then they auctioned
Well,
the prototype on eBay.
Oh,
dude.
And now Tony Stark owns it.
Yeah, this guy sounds like a grifter.
Oh, I bet he is. Applied for many jobs and then used AI to help sue the companies when they didn't respond.
I like it.
Dick, I had to buy a light bulb the other day, and it was a specialty light bulb. It was one of these weird-shaped LEDs that came with the light fixture, and I hadn't yet had to replace it. It started flickering and going out, so I took it out, and I'm like, I'm never going to be able to match this bulb up unless I take the actual bulb with me.
Okay.
So I had to take the bulb to the Home Depot and start looking around like this, and it was like an HRL 35, size LED light, something I had never heard of before. But one of the things I noticed on these packages for lights is they say lasts up to 13 years. And then the next will say, lasts up to 18 years. And I'm like,
I've seen those.
Yeah, right, And if you read the fine print on there, it's like, only if it's used for less than 2 hours a day and left on continuously. I mean, there's all of these caveats that will actually allow the bulb to last this long. It does remind me, I think it was my second home. When we bought it, there were some bulbs that were way up on like maybe 16 to 18 foot high part of the ceiling at this one point. And I'm like, don't know how I'm going to get up there to ever change those light bulbs. And luckily, I never had to. I lived there for 8 years, and those bulbs never burn out. But they were just regular incandescent bulbs. But it got me
aren't those illegal now?
Yeah, well, they tried to, and I think there was kind of an uproar. But that reminds me of something. Have you ever heard of the Centennial Light?
No.
The Centennial Light is an incandescent bulb recognized as the oldest known continuously operating light bulb. It was first illuminated... Guess what year, Dick?
100 years ago.
If only. 1901.
Oh, so it's still going?
124 years. It has only been turned off a few brief times since, and it's located at 455 whatever East Avenue in Livermore, California, at a fire station. Now, who's the moron who's going to turn that thing off to test it? Because wouldn't that be the worst thing? You go in there and turn it off,
Oh,
and it doesn't turn back
that's pretty cool, though.
on. It is really cool. It says the handmade light bulb
So tell me-
was originally manufactured by the Shelby Electric Company towards the end of the 1890s, blah, 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 blah.
Is this why global warming's happening?
This exact bulb, actually. Can you think of the amount of electricity this bulb has used over the last 124 years just sitting there? But no, what this does tell me is that it is entirely...
We're being ripped off?
Exactly. It is entirely capable of making a light bulb that lasts hundreds and hundreds of years, but they are not doing it.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy. It's a light bulb conspiracy.
I like it.
Yeah, man. It was donated to the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department in 1901. It has been relocated several times since and remains in the care of the fire department today. The bulb's longevity has been attributed to its high quality of manufacture and it's being seldom turned off. So there you go. You tell your dad, Dad, I ain't turning the lights off in the house because light bulbs last longer and you leave them on. Don't you know about the centennial bulb? Bet not, old man.
Bet not. Shut your face. I'll kill you in your sleep. Is that how you talk to your dad?
That's it. That's it.
Is that how you think I sound when I talk to my dad?
You kind of sound a little bit like this.
Yeah, I'm a little slow.
You sound a little slow. Hey, Dad.
Hey.
You need me to mow your yard, Dad?
Mow your yard?
Go fix your flower
I'll
beds,
kill
Dad.
you in your sleep.
Just let me continue staying here, Dad. So you did go to ACU, is that correct?
Maybe.
Well, your university, your fine alma mater, what is your mascot, by the way, at ACU?
I think it's a wildcat.
You think it is.
Yeah, well, I remember.
So much school spirit you have.
No, we have hand gestures.
Gestures or gestures?
Gestures, thank you.
I like
I'm so glad.
gestures.
Gestures. Yeah, I think it's a wildcat.
Oh, my God. Well, the Wildcats are allowing the first molten salt nuclear reactor in 30 years to be put on the campus of ACU. This is kind of crazy. First of all, I didn't know that there was a molten salt reactor, if that was even a thing. But the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, or the NRC, has granted Abilene Christian University, ACU, the construction permit for an advanced nuclear reactor called the Natura MSR-1, otherwise known as the Schisler.
Yeah, it's named after me.
I figured. You don't have a wing named after yourself?
I have several. It's called my bedroom at ACU.
And they teach farm-to-table techniques.
Farm-to-table techniques. Hey, yo.
This is the first liquid salt-fueled reactor ever licensed by the NRC and the first university research reactor approved in the U.S. in over 30 years. Kind of crazy. You know, we talked about radioactive rocks. Well, bringing to school, they're going to bring an entire flippin' reactor to school.
Do you think someone really finally got their word in at the board meeting? We need to save money on our electric bill.
Well, I mean, look, without getting too into nuclear reaction and electricity, it is a good way of producing electricity.
Well, I get it, but what brought this on the campus? Is it a study?
I don't know.
Is this a study thing, or is it like, hey, we really do want to save money on our electric bill?
I don't think it's a money-saving thing. It is most likely a research study for the students and grants and things like this.
Because somebody had to apply to get it.
But what I'm saying is, with a lot of the uproar over Chernobyl and the fear of radioactivity
and radioactive
do you
rocks,
think and radioactive rocks again? They had to call the hazmat team in Ardmore, Oklahoma, or wherever it was. Would you be afraid to send your student now to ACU, knowing there is a nuclear reactor that the students are basically going to get their internship on there on campus?
No.
No?
No. I'd be like, son, the women are worth it.
Is ACU known for the ladies?
Oh, they're...
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they're church-going girls.
Oh, that's true. So they're good girls, are they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff.
It says, additionally, they are significantly more efficient, and their goal is to burn up to more than 90% of the fuel compared to the present solid fuel reactors that only burn 5% of a consumption rate. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I just thought it was interesting
no,
when
it
I
really
saw that
is.
because
It's
it's
cool.
ACU. And I'm like, oh, Dick kind of went to ACU.
Well, they probably chose that location because it's so barren. So if it does go off, nothing really will be affected land-wise.
Except for, the campus
Well,
and all those good
Christians
Christian
are
girls.
expendable.
Good God.
So they're good. They've already
They
converted.
already know.
They've already been baptized. They're good.
Well, they already know that they're going to have a place in heaven in the afterlife, so they
Yeah.
figure.
Not 40 virgins though, losers.
I think it's 70 or something.
70,
right?
whatever. Who
Something.
cares?
Yeah.
But no, I still want to know why. Like someone filled this permit out to get it. Like, hey, did you know we can get a nuclear reactor? Really? How do you get that? Well, you go to this website, you fill out this information, and
It's a form.
Yeah, it's a form, and
Nuclearreactors.org.
yeah.
.edu.
No, it's called getyournuke.com. And that's how they filter the crazies. But no, I think it's kind of funny. I think it's cool. ACU always does really neat stuff like that. They're pretty cool.
I had this weird flight a while back, and I started to tell this story, and I never got around to doing it. But I was flying out to Las Vegas, and my flight was delayed. And when it was delayed, I looked out and could see that the airplane was there, so I'm not entirely sure what was going on. Well, the airplane was up on a jack. I don't know if you've ever seen an airplane up on a jack,
Ew.
but it was kind of wild. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. And they were looking at something on the front of the airplane, and we were delayed about 40 minutes before we all boarded, got on the plane, and we started taxiing. Well, we were, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes away from the gate when we all of a sudden just stopped. And the pilot, and then we just sat there and I thought, well, this is kind of weird. And the pilot came on and said, well, guys, it's part of the job I really don't like the most, but we were hoping some of that maintenance we were performing earlier was going to work, but I don't think it did because I can't keep this jet straight. It keeps wanting to veer off to the left. I'm like, oh my God. So he said, we're going to turn around and see if we can find another plane for you. So we turned around, went back to the gate, got off the plane. We stood there for a while. They found us another plane at another gate. It was so odd, though, getting onto the plane again and seeing all the same people, relatively in the same order, boarding the plane. It's like, man, this is like weird deja vu, man. And it was a flight to Vegas, so everybody's like, woo, just partying and talking about
is
getting
that what happens when
married.
you go to-
Oh my God, it was crazy. And then, the flight back from Vegas is always so much different too, because the flight there, everybody's like full of hopes and dreams and cash. And then like on the way back, you're poor and you have an itch. You're not sure where it's from. You're feeling really bad about the decisions you made.
What do you eat there?
Grasshoppers. Well, this reminded me of that because an American Airlines plane had to turn around after 9 hours in the air and return to the original airport. So this was an American flight from Dallas to Korea. And after almost 5 hours in the air, they had to turn around abruptly and come back. Mm-hmm. So can you imagine being in an airplane for nearly 10 hours just to return back to the exact same place where you started from?
Sounds like my life.
Now, what I don't understand, though, is the flight from Dallas to Korea is probably, 10 to 12 hours. I've looked this up before. They were already 5 hours into the flight. Couldn't they just keep right on going and get to their final destination?
Well, they go over water.
That's the thing. But the reasoning for them turning around was, quote, a bathroom incident.
Oh, some guy didn't pee on somebody?
So if that's the case, it's a bathroom incident and it's not anything mechanical, couldn't they just keep going? But I guess it's one of those things, if they suddenly have to land, at least they're overland.
I always wondered
There's
this.
more options for other airports around.
Because imagine having a heart attack on the airplane.
I'm imagining right now.
And you're over the water, and it's like, hey, it's 30 minutes faster to turn around and hit land than it would be if we kept
to keep going. I guess at that point in 5 hours, you probably have just barely made it out over the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, I guess they're thinking if this is bad enough and we do need to land, we can, as opposed to if we're committed now, we're over water for a long time. I guess that's it.
I would just leave. They should be able to depressurize the cabin and throw them off.
Just chunk them. Well, originally there was zero explanation. They just literally turned around. It's like, and we're back to your original starting point.
That poor soul who ignores everybody on airplanes. Mm-hmm. Wasn't paying attention to anything. Immediately slept, put headphones on, didn't care. And he's like, "Oh man, we're finally in Korea, finally, man." And it's like, wait a tick.
God, this looks like DFW, man. This is crazy. Can you imagine? Yeah, thinking you're in South Korea.
What would be great about that is like he doesn't say anything to anybody, And then like he gets off the plane and then goes up to the counter and be like, "Man, miss, yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought tickets to go to Korea. I was just on a plane for 10 hours and I'm back where I started."
Dude, that's like a weird acid trip right there, man. Well, get this. This is
have you heard about that now? It's people who are doing like mushrooms and going to the airport. Like
I've heard of it.
Like it's a thing. No, it's becoming a bigger thing.
Oh, it's like a trend.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I have not heard of this.
And yeah, like
It's a TikTok challenge.
I guess. And I was reading about people's stories,
blights.
and it was hilarious because like one story was even better because he took a bunch of shrooms, and then he was at the wrong airport, and he was talking about like how he
Well,
had,
yeah, because he's tripping
yeah,
balls,
well, no,
man.
he ate it on the way to the airport.
Of course.
And
That's
so
so it kicks in while you're just about to take off.
So he said like while he was sitting there and it started to affect him before and he realized he was at the wrong airport, he had to figure out how to get
Oh
on-
my God. Sounds
into an Uber.
absolutely terrifying.
go to the other airport, and then he goes, he was really kicking in because I had to talk to everybody, try to figure out where my gate was because I was extremely late.
Yeah.
And
Oh
I
my
think I would
God.
just call it quits.
Yeah, at that point, just go and trip in the corner of the airport. This is
I would not want to be on any
no,
drugs.
No, but get this. This is the
You know
most
why?
interesting. Why?
Because that little hiss that you hear with the AC, you know, some people put AC,
Of course.
but it's just a little bit, and it's like a. That would drive me crazy because I would be thinking we're leaking. I'd be thinking like
Not
you
the
know,
fact that you're 36,000 feet in the air.
No,
no, it's the little leak.
Well, that's what freaks me out. Like, is anyone going to turn that off or fix that? Like,
Well, get this. So, according to a passenger, Jimin Lee, she said that the airline staff explained the incident as having been caused by an issue with the toilets. The pilot also reportedly asked, get this, if any of the passengers were carrying a screwdriver, which could have fixed the issue.
that's even better.
We would have gone to Korea, but no one had a freaking Phillips. You know?
Well, I always wondered, like,
Gosh.
because there are rules, and there had to have been a rule. But I like it.
Lee concluded that American Airlines needs a lesson in effective communication. Yeah, I'm hearing some contradictory things here. One is they didn't say anything, and two, they're saying that they needed a screwdriver to fix the issue. What kind of bathroom incident like this causes them to turn around? They're being very, very secretive here. There's literally no additional information on this other than, quote, bathroom
Yeah, because you
incident.
find these
Or
trash
toilet.
articles.
Toilet. This is from, where is this sourced from?
Probably from MSM.
It's from the Latin Times.
I don't know,
like that?
That sounds, again, trash.
The Latin Times? How dare you
Fake news.
besmirch a fine institution
Mainstream
such
media.
as the Latin news, the mainstream,
It's mainstream media, dude.
the Washington Slimes.
Whatever.
Oh man, I just thought that was.
I think that's my
pretty
favorite thing.
crazy.
It's when people judge other people
Yes.
depending on where they get their news from. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, my favorite is the Epoch Times. Is that how you pronounce it?
I have
Epoch?
heard of the Epoch Times.
So I've heard of that. I had a buddy who actually I found out wrote for them, and I was like, isn't that a conspiracy newspaper? And he's like, no, man, it's like they do history, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool.
Keep
And then,
vamping, my story won't load.
but then I realized, like, everyone does have a news source. Right? Like,
Yeah, everybody has. Well, these days,
Well, you get yours from the garbage can.
everybody
We
do
know-
at
we
the
know
bottom,
that.
the bottom of the internet. Yes, everybody does have a preferred news outlet these days, and they would rather have news curated to them in a way that they want to hear it, rather than just getting news.
What freaks me out, I forgot. I was listening.
So my story's not loading.
I
Oh,
think
well.
yeah, so there's this political group, people I used to like a couple years ago. They had a show. They have a show now called Breaking Points.
I think I'm at mine right now.
And I was listening to them the other day,
Okay, I
and I
found
go,
another.
am I listening to these people talk about other news people talking about news? I was like, what?
That has got to be the most boring thing ever.
Well, because the election's coming up, so I like to just
Is
like listen to a couple. I love everyone's opinions
Hadn't
on it.
noticed.
I love it, but it's like I like them because they seem to be kind of honest or whatever you want to call it. But then when they start talking about other news people, talking about the news of the news,
By the news, for the news.
yeah, and I'm going like, this is I stopped caring
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah. Well, speaking
Well,
of
who are
Yep,
you
go
voting
ahead.
for?
You know
I
what?
want to vote for the guy who died with the bear suit,
Yeah, if he was only still alive.
or the AI guy. The onesie submitted article. I'll vote for that dude.
Yeah, I bet you would. I'm sitting this one out, dude. Not voting, man.
I guess that didn't really work out for Joe Biden, did it? He tried to pull out and just.
I think it's actually working out better for him. He gets to go home and take a nap, and his party actually stands a chance of winning now. So this is the story I was going to...
Let's make this a political ending segment.
Yeah, let's not. I was going to do this article, and it wouldn't load, so I found it at another website. But this is basically
garbage servers.
Have you heard of glass pods on top of airplanes? Apparently, there's an aerospace engineering company
you mean, like a gun pod?
that wants to put. Well, it's I can't really show you because it's not loaded up.
Like on a B-52?
No, kind of.
B-17?
Yeah. But they're putting this on passenger planes now. Basically, these viewing domes on top of.
I always want to go on one of those trains that have that. You ever seen those trains where the second story has it's a viewing?
It's
room?
all basically just glass. Yeah, that looks awesome. But
that I would do shrooms and do that.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of bringing it all full circle. Can you imagine being on a plane?
I'm not gonna let you finish this.
But you're listening to me. Being on a plane in a viewing pod on shrooms. Well, this story doesn't talk about.
I want to see green.
You want to see green?
I don't want to see blue. Like I feel like if you got the top of the plane,
You
I'm
mean
like, oh look,
cyan.
Or I mean, the star thing would be kind of cool if it's like a clear sky and it's at night. That'd be kind of cool.
One company has developed a concept that looks amazing. The Skydeck would see a 2-person pod installed on top of the fuselage, giving a couple of lucky passengers a pilot's eye view of the world as it passes by. And knowing our world, the first couple that gets up in there is going to live stream it with them doing it. And it's going to be on their OnlyFans page. I guarantee it.
What's ironic about that is...
That is definitely a new Mile High Club.
Have you ever seen a cockpit?
Excuse me?
Like
what are we talking about
Have you
here?
been in a cockpit of one of those big planes? The windows aren't very big.
Yeah, how do they see out? It's because they don't need to see. It's all done by gadgets and gizmos and radar.
One of my friends is a pilot, and he was like, he sent me a picture, and I go, I'm not going to lie, if I was 12 years old and I'm like, I want to be a pilot, I would be so disappointed to see how small those windows are.
Yeah, I want to be able to see,
I want to be able, well, that'd be like the enjoyment part of like, dude, we're flying. Like, this is great. That would piss me off, actually.
Yeah, well, maybe so.
Because I bet, like, in a fighter jet, you have a 360 view.
Yeah, there's probably some massive blind spots on those
But,
things.
like, on like, a commercial jet, this is, like, this tiny window. I'm like, that looks stupid.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe you need to design your own jet. I do think it's funny that they have windshield wipers on there.
I like it when you hit all the birds.
Yeah. Wipe the guts out of the way.
That's why Wonder Woman drove an invisible jet.
Is that why? Did you know that the inventor of the Wonder Woman was into S&M, and that's why she looks like she's kind of the way she is? Look it up, dude.
Look it. Good for him, I guess. That's why she has a whip.
You know what? Maybe I'll actually.
And it tells the truth.
Exactly. That's why she has a whip.
Ooh, he was into some cool stuff.
He was.
I like this guy.
Again, I may have to look
All right,
that
I
up.
take that trophy back from the AI guy. That guy gets my favorite guy award for today's show.
That's right. Did you ever hear the...
And Wonder Woman gets my favorite woman award.
She does it for you, huh?
Well, I mean, just the idea of what that guy did in real life makes my mind go, this guy's crazy. I like it. Like, can you imagine being married to that dude?
No, actually, I can't.
Well, I mean, like, imagine he's drawing these cartoons, and you're
this is work, sweetie. I'm just doing work.
And this is your wife's like, why does she have to look like that? Well, what do you think? We going back there? We want to go in the red room, whatever it's called, the dungeon.
It's called a comic book, honey.
No, I bet there's some. I bet you they made a movie about it.
I don't know. I've just heard that before. I'll need to look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
Maybe that will be a topic for next week's show. Wonder Woman
movie.
No, not movie. No. Wonder Woman creator, BDSM. Maybe that's all the thing you need to type.
Okay, so they did. It's called Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman, and it's about him. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. Dude.
Content on the fly. Never mind.
No.
Moving on. I should have never brought it up.
He's a professor.
Onesies,
and
I
he's
apologize.
married to another professor.
I apologize. Mm-hmm.
And then they involve a student.
Okay, but this is not what I was talking about.
This is a movie.
Yeah, you're talking about a movie. I'm talking about the real life creator.
This is about him.
I know, and how he modeled the actual character of the Wonder Woman because of his love for BDSM. And that's, again, why she's dressed the way she is and why she has a whip. Speaking of BDSM, have you seen...
Man, guy's a freak.
Yeah,
Way to go, dude.
Or not seen, but have you heard the crazy rumor that Cal Ripken Jr. caught his wife cheating with Kevin Costner, and this event nearly ended his Iron Man streak in the 1990s.
I mean, I think I heard of Kevin Costner, like, being involved with a lot of women.
Yeah.
But Cal, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Cal Ripken or whatever.
Well, I believe it is a insanely made-up rumor, and I'm not sure entirely how it got started.
Well, he's still
But
married to
the
her.
story goes like this, that Ripken and Costner met and became pals at the premiere of one of his films, Dances with Wolves, in fact. And then years later, in 1997, Costner was said to be in Baltimore and was staying at Ripken's home. Ripken had to leave to go to the ballpark for a game against the Seattle Mariners, and Costner was left at home with Cal's then-wife, Kelly. It was said that Ripken had forgotten something and had to go back to the house, at which point he caught Kelly and Kevin Costner in bed together. Now, of course, naturally, Ripken was so overcome with rage that he was said to have beaten the tar out of Costner and then called the Orioles to tell them that he wouldn't be playing the game that night, which obviously would have ended his Iron Man streak of, I don't know, what he played, like 2,000 some odd games together.
Steroids in it or something.
It says, but then another crazy rumor came into play that the Orioles faked an electrical failure, which resulted in the lights not working, which obviously meant that the game, a night game, could not be played, and then Ripken would come back the next day to continue the streak. But there is one peculiar thing about this story, because in August of 1997, the Orioles did cancel a game due to an electric failure, but they're saying it had nothing to do with Kevin Costner or Cal Ripken Jr.
Well, the thing I like about
Funny,
these,
I just don't know how these rumors get started.
not even
right?
the rumor, but like, what kind of rumors do you love?
This one.
That people have to keep denying, and it's just like, it gets to a point where it's so old, and it's like, aren't you the guy with the gerbil up his butt?
That's literally where I was going to say, the one with the gerbil, or maybe the had to have his stomach pumped. That was always one too.
Or yeah,
What was
good.
it? Who was it? Rod Stewart, right? Remember, didn't Rod Stewart have to have his stomach pumped?
I don't like people get their stomach pumped all the time.
I can't community radio, sir. I can't.
We'll talk about it later.
But yes, it was either the gerbil or the stomach pumping
Or the
stories.
missing rib.
Yes, missing ribs. There's all these. This is where, if we weren't on FM, it'd be a little different story. Oh, speaking of stories, this is the quick hit here at the end of the show. Were you aware that the current generation of adults in Hungary are referred to as the DuckTales Generation? Because the death of the first democratically elected prime minister of Hungary was announced during a DuckTales episode. And so this entire generation of children are now scarred because as they're watching their DuckTales show, the news of their first democratically elected president being shot was
pretty
given
amazing.
to them.
I love it.
Boom. And that is the show Onesies.
Well, Andrew,
I don't even know if we hit the mark. I was kind of off today,
We
man.
did.
Some of the stories didn't load. I had a crazy day, busy. So Onesies, I was not at the top of my game today. But you know what? I will make up for it hopefully next week. And if not, sometime in the future.
you know who's on top every day?
Oh, God. Dick is on top.
Dick Cheese.
By the way, like I said earlier, we may have to do some double episodes, some part 1, part 2, hopefully, so that we do not miss a week. But if it gets to be so busy for me and we do miss, I apologize. But hopefully we can continue to bring you content all throughout the month of October.
Yay, October. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to survive. We should do Oktoberfest here.
It's all those, yeah. Bring your radioactive rock to the next.
That's some ice cubes. Radioactive ice cubes.
Put them in the freezer, drop them in your beer.
Yeah. that's how you do
Radioactive
it.
rock cubes.
All right, Andrew. I'll see you later, buddy.
Next week, bud. Bye.